Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hi, 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 hi. I am so excited to bring you today the last feature in our Pregnant series. I am bringing to the stage, woo, 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 Dee from Brown Girls Invest Too. So I'm so excited to talk to Dee, who lives in Mexico, about her experience in Mexico as a gay woman. So, T, why don't you
Yes.
give yourself the introduction you would like to have?
The one I would like to have. I'm Empress of the World. No, I'm
All right now.
kidding. I'm Dee Watkins. I am a former engineer, early retiree. I am an expat immigrant. I've moved to Mexico and very much a free spirit. And I am a financial coach, and I try and teach other Black and Brown women how to grow their money, um, saving more, spending less, and investing in the stock market. Um, I am very much an extrovert, and I'm here. Very glad to be here speaking with you. Thank you, Rashida, for having me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for being here. Thank you. Okay, so can we talk about your journey to Mexico?
Yes. So I out there is very beautiful, beautiful lawns, right? I retired early, and I retired in an area that is very much different from my political views. So I retired early, and I'm younger, so there's not much to do in my neighborhood or where I'm from, where I live actually. Uh, so I was really bored. And when I found you guys and saw that there were people moving out of the country, I actually traveled quite a bit. But when I found out people were moving, I said, well, wait a minute now. Let me go see what's going on. And I had the time, I've got the money. I said, let me just go take a look. And it originally was just supposed to be for a couple of months, and a couple of months has turned into 2 years. So I started out in Guadalajara. I was there for, oh goodness, 16 months. Is that right? No, I was there for 12 months. I've been in San Miguel de Allende since late December of 2023. Uh,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Well, we have a lot of the San Miguel de Allende and the Guadalajara crew right now, the
Good.
Mexico crew. We have Zolani from Black Flourishing and Free, who was my guest last week. I think I don't. What is time? I think
It
that was
was last week. Yes, I saw it. It was very nice.
Marissa, who is in Guadalajara.
Mhm.
Adelia, who's in Mexico City. JG, who I think might be in Mexico City for Pride right now. Right now. I don't know. Tracy's here, who was also a feature this month. So the girlies are here.
Yes.
Um, Marissa already got a question. We'll put that on pause for a sec. If you have questions for Dee, drop them in the comments. I will get to them. Oh, no, that's not what I was trying to do. Y'all, it's early here. I usually do this about an hour later, and I'm doing it right now. I don't know what's going on in my life. Excuse me. Okay, so you said outside they're beautiful lawns. That's not Mexico. So
Well, here, this is my complaint. All these people do is cut their grass. I swear to you, that's why I left.
okay,
Uh,
so you are in the USA right now.
yes. Okay. Let me go back. So I'm originally from Chicago, big city, and I moved to the Atlanta area about 8 years ago, and I retired here in the Atlanta area 3 years ago. Oh no, that's wrong. 5 years ago. And so because I'm from a big city and I moved to what is really it's a suburb. I'm not used to this, and the grass cutting is a bit much. So I needed some other things to do.
So
Um, yeah.
the grass. What about the grass cutting was a bit much? Was it the noise?
No, it's not the noise. There's nothing going on. They're
Okay,
only cutting their grass. That's the
I was gonna
problem.
say because you don't move to Mexico, you don't move
Yeah.
to Guadalajara or San Miguel
No.
because to get away from noise. All right.
No, it was
So
not that at all. It was to go to some things. You know, Guadalajara is the second largest city in Mexico. So I came from the second largest city in the well, yeah, second largest city in the U.S.
Hmm.
That's the kind of hustle and bustle I want to be around.
Okay.
Um, I didn't end up there ultimately, but it's okay. Keep
Okay.
moving.
Um, when you decided to move to Mexico, how did you, in the calculations,
Yes.
uh, how did you factor in your gayness?
Um. Oh, okay. I got where you're going. As far as I knew, it was I had traveled to Mexico back and forth, so
Mhm.
I had known that it was going to be no issue for me to be there, right? Be
Okay.
there, be here, right? Um, so it is a big factor for me because I just can't travel everywhere. I am masculine of center. I am a masculine presenting woman, and it is not okay for me to just travel anywhere or move anywhere. And so I had to know that where I was going was going to be safe for me, and that I wasn't going to be, looking over my shoulder and just trying to navigate life. So yes, it was a big factor for me, and because it's close, and I figured let's try it.
Okay. And had you been to Guadalajara before you moved there?
I had not. No, that
Okay.
was most of my travels had been. Or, I'm sorry, to Mexico had been to the East Coast. So the Riviera Maya, Cancun, Tulum, things like that. So I actually started to just check things out. I went to Puerto Vallarta for a little bit, and no, I went there on a house sit. That is a very gay place. However, it is
Not your gay?
no, not my gay, not my gay. No, 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 no. So I went there, and it's a pretty place, but it's not for me. And
Yeah.
so the next stop was Guadalajara. When I got there, those people greeted me wonderfully. And so I went there for just a little bit, and a little bit turned into a long bit. I enjoyed it. It was great. Yeah.
Okay. Do you do people in San Miguel or Guadalajara ever do you feel like your sexuality is a factor in has it ever been a factor in your interactions there?
Never
Okay.
in my interactions. No, not at all. No.
Okay.
I mean, I do get mistaken for a man sometimes, but
Okay.
that happens in the U.S., so it's no big deal.
All right. I can see it being no big deal generally, but I can also see it being a little bit more frustrating in Spanish, right? Like if it's a language that's not your native tongue. So how has maneuvering around those situations been? Has it been like easy enough to do?
So I am very outgoing,
Right?
and any place I go to, I'm talking to people, whether I speak the language or not. I got a mean point game. So, um, and I know some Spanish, a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, Again, because I'm a pleasant person, people generally want to talk to me and want to, kind of interact with me a little bit. The only time I have any issue, or it's not even an issue, the only time it's noticeable is if I am presenting more masculine that day. If I go into a restroom, I'm sorry, if I'm coming out of a restroom and a woman is coming in, sometimes she'll, open the door and look at me and go, and then look at the door and I go, yeah, it's for you, girl. Let's go. Come on. you know,
Okay.
but other than that, it's really never an issue at all. I never run into any times where I feel unsafe. I've been places where sometimes people refer to me as a guy, and I just, is it gonna give me something right now? If you think I'm a guy, it's if I'll be a guy. That's okay. That's no problem.
Is
Um,
there a benefit to being a man here? Because
well, it can be.
right, like
what,
what
what
do you
we
think?
doing today?
Right.
Um, Once, I don't know if I think I've heard her say her name. I'm pretty sure I've heard her say her name. So I've been out with Jay before. We went to a restaurant, big old, it's a huge chicken place in San Miguel. And we're standing there, and again, the guy's just talking to us, chatting it up, and I'm chatting it up with him. And so he says, you guys, you know, he said, are you brothers? And we look at each other and go, yeah. You know, so it's nothing. Either way, it's fine for me, but I never run into any issues. I'm trying to think where I do have one story. I don't want to frighten anyone though.
No, like we're here for the stories. I'm laughing because both you and Jay may be masculine of center, but neither one of you, like to me, presents as male. And so looking at the two of you and saying, "Are you brothers?" I'm kind of like,
So listen. So there's varying degrees of this, and um, I am actually on the softer side of being masculine of center. So I am sometimes, and this is really, I think, only for the Midwest, and my experience is mostly Chicago. So there, I have been like some people will group up, you know, according to how they identify, and sometimes they bring me into a group or try to bring me into a group that I don't feel I'm a part of. I don't feel like I don't know. I don't feel like I'm a man, so I'm not going to. Don't call me. What's up, man? Don't. I'm not a man. Um, or I hope I'm not going to get in trouble. I don't grab parts that I don't have. So you know. So those kind of things, I kind of, you know, that's not me. And those same people have said, well, you're not part of this, and I'm not, and that's okay. I actually will associate more with feminine women or straight women. Okay. And Tracy and them got on my nerves last month because they said, we're going on a girls' trip. And I was like, all right, let me go pack. And they was like, you're not going. What do you mean I'm not going? That ain't right. But that's what happened.
so why couldn't you go on the girls' trip? What happened?
No, I'm kidding. They probably would have let me go. I actually had to come back to Chicago, but at first they were like, "It's a girls' trip," and I'm like, "Okay, I'm packing."
Wait, did Honey go on the girls' trip?
No, but I don't know why. I was leaving, so I don't.
Okay.
Wait a minute. I think she.
All right. I mean,
And she's out of
Tracy's
town.
here.
Look,
Okay.
you can say it's a girls' trip if you want to, but we going. So
Okay, so there was a story that you thought might scare us. Tell us the story.
all right, now listen to this whole thing.
Okay.
Please don't be frightened about this.
I'm
I'm talking about them.
Story.
Okay.
Come on.
It's long. All right, I'm gonna try and cut it down. I talk too much. I was out walking my dogs in Guadalajara. Guadalajara's police runs deep, right? Because it is the hub for two families. And so I'm out walking, and I see uh, in Mexico they have these pickup trucks that have seats on the back of them with cops sitting in them. And so I see three of them gunning it toward me, and I'm like, "Oh wow, something's going on." I don't think anything of it. No problem. I ain't do nothing. So they turn down the street in front of me. I'm heading toward my building. So I get to my building, and when I'm getting close to my building, six motorcycle cops pulled up in formation. And I go, well, that ain't good. And then I go upstairs, feed the dogs, water the dogs, and I'm preparing to head back out because I'm going to dinner. So I go up there and take care of all of that. So I'm telling you that because I was up there for maybe 20 minutes. And then I come down and I go to the garage. I drive in Mexico. So my building, if you're walking in, you come in on this street. Oh God, that's weird. You come in on one street, but when you drive out on the street behind it. So I drove out on the street behind it, made a right, and that would have taken me to the main street. So I'm driving. I start driving down, and it's just a half a street. It's not long, right? I go down half of the street. Be careful, guys. It's okay. I promise you, it's okay. I'm still here. All of these cops, not with these guns, put guns on me. These guns, and it was probably about 20 police. And this happened. I swear to you, they run out. You want me to stop the story? It didn't happen.
I mean, you're alive. You're one piece. You're laughing. So
yes, I'm laughing. It's fine. It's okay.
Come
on. So they put the guns on me. I throw my hands up, and I said, "Well, maybe they're still coming toward me. And I said, well, maybe they don't see I'm a woman. I'm a black woman. There's no issue. So I lean forward and they're still coming. I go, well, wait a minute, guys. I didn't do anything. So I hit my hand down and I drop all of my windows because I've got tinted windows, pretty dark. And I drive a SUV. So this guy gets to me first and he says, oh, no, sorry. He has the gun here, finger there. I'm looking at his finger near the trigger. And he says, where are you from? I'm from Chicago. Normally, I would try and speak Spanish, but thank God I didn't try and speak Spanish that day.
Oh, okay.
I said, I'm from Chicago. He says, where do you live? I said, right there. He said, you live there? I live there. And so I said, can I show you my papers? You need a tip anyway, you need papers. So he allows me to reach into my glove box. I hand him the papers. He looks at it. He says, okay, you're good. And he lays them down. Now, I've been looking this way the whole time. I don't know that this guy has a gun in my head over here. And I turn and I go, oh, God. So he's not, this guy said it's okay. He said, you can go. I ain't going nowhere until y'all put them guns down.
Point the gun somewhere else.
Right. And by the way, I because I threw my hands up, I never put the car in, it's not in park. I just got my foot on the brake. So this guy, he's not really satisfied with his answer. And he said, he looks at me, he said, are you a woman? And I go, yes. I'm proving it to you now. What you need? So he looks down at the thing and he looks in the back. Now I've got 2 dogs. So I've got a dog tarp, a seat cover. And so it looks like a tarp. So now he's interested in what's under the tarp. So he starts looking under the tarp and he's satisfied. He says, okay, you can go. Now, here's what the problem was. I lived at that time near some train tracks. And on those trains come people from dark countries. And they had saw 6 guys get off of the train and a SUV picked them up. And here I come with a big old SUV with dark tinted windows. Okay. That was the issue, right? Now, prior to that, I had no issue. I mean, the cops, they say, hey, speak to you. Hi, how are you? It's never any issue. I thought if I showed them I was a black woman, that it would be okay. Well, that's what they're looking for, someone my color. That was the problem. And here's the best part. I'm here. I ain't got no holes on me. One cop in the U.S. can do a lot of damage like this. A bunch of cops with guns like this did no damage at all. That was one of the issues where I had to kind of say, hey, yeah, you want to see him? But other than that, boom, what's up?
Okay, so this is an interesting thing. It's like to contextualize in my brain, because especially in the midst of a conversation we're having, because they stopped you because they were black, because they were looking for black. It's not, you know what I mean? Like a lot of times, like,
well,
like you said, description, but like the description was very specific for that location, right?
Sure,
like,
absolutely.
A black person in an SUV. What did you take from that experience?
That I actually was just that it had nothing to do, obviously nothing to do with my sexuality, right? I only brought it up because I had to prove, or not prove, just answer his question. Yes, I'm a woman. Here you go. What it first made me do is think that I can't be in an area where my color may be an issue over here by these tracks. That's it. Okay. Nowhere else is that an issue for me, but for me living near those tracks and people coming in from brown countries. Other than that, what it taught me is that I was pretty much safe here. If I can come out of something like that, okay, I think I'm good, right? The only other time where I'll have a little, it's not an issue, with kids looking at me trying to figure out.
Because kids be nosy.
They're not nosy. They're just trying to. They're trying to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
So I've had kids look at me and try and figure out if I'm a girl or a boy, and I let them know, and then they say, "Okay, will you play with me?" Absolutely. What we playing? But really nothing else.
Um, it's so interesting because I live by some railroad tracks. I never considered like the that possibility. Also, I've never heard of humans on the track. Like, I don't know if in this area they don't ride the tracks like that, but I've never heard of.
Uh, yeah.
Uh,
Well,
uh.
it's actually there's a safe house over there as well. I've heard.
And you guys are more like on a direct route from like to the north, where we're kind of like you don't. There's no need reason for you to be over here. Um. So, is that why you moved from Guadalajara, or what? Did you move from that location, or tell me about your move to San Miguel?
Uh, my move. So mm, Guadalajara is pretty transient, and they have a younger community. I am 54. Now I can hang with you; it's cool. But some conversations that are had, I'm like, oh boy, that's some. Yeah, I'm gonna go home. But the so um, because I would make build relationships with people, strong relationships, and then they leave. I'm like, oh, okay, this is not working. And because I hold tight to good friendships. I'm still friends with them, by the way, really good. Um, I met Tracy Collins and Jay, and um, Guadalajara gave me what I needed. I enjoy driving around. I enjoy finding an area and then getting lost in that area, but not walking the area. I like finding stuff,
Right?
and Uber is not going to allow me to find
No.
stuff. So I've got the city life that I would want, good food, all that kind of stuff. I just didn't have the community that I needed,
Hmm.
and I had an issue with my building. My building was a brand new building, and literally the unit I had was turned. The owner purchased it. The unit was turned over to me. I was the first person in that unit. So what these people failed to do with a brand new building is put a again, guys, don't. It's not common. They failed to put a water filter on the main water line.
Hmm.
Yeah. So that was one issue. So for a period of time, our water was brown, and that ain't good for me. So my landlord was real good about it. They put a water filter in my unit, and then the building put the filter they should have put on the main water thing. So I'm double filtered. I was good. The other thing is they built a 23 stories, 4 units each, 92 units, right? Something like that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's all right. Anyway, um, so they put a large building in the place of where I think maybe 4 single family homes had been, which meant that they could not support the electrical grid had trouble there.
Mhm.
So sometimes I would lose lights. I would lose lights. I call my friends, you guys got lights? They're like, yes, we're fine. So, okay, I'm done. So I had the, you could do something about the water, but unless we can get CFE to change the grid over here, I'm still going to have issues with the lights. And so I just said, well, it's a younger community for me that people are leaving. I'm having trouble with the lights. Tracy and them are leaving and going somewhere. Let me go see what they're doing. So I followed them.
Okay.
That's what happened. Actually, I went there a few times. I'm talking about San Miguel. And once I went there, I mean, the first time I went, I left with like 6 numbers of folks that wanted to stay in touch with me. And so I said, well, shoot, this is pretty cool. And
Yeah.
that's why I made the move to San Miguel.
Okay. I'm gonna make you host for a minute.
All
And
right.
this time, I would like you to tell the people your story of driving down the entering the country when you weren't feeling so well story, because that's a good one.
Oh.
It's
Oh,
educational.
I got you. Okay. Hey guys. What Rashida's speaking of. So listen, I drove to Mexico originally. The reason to Guadalajara, I drove because I knew I was going to be there longer, on a longer stay, and I wasn't going. I like to drive. I'm not gonna. I'm not walking everywhere. I'm not gonna do that. And I want to be able to go places. And I have two dogs, so I drove from Atlanta to stopped and saw a friend in Mobile, Alabama. Went to Baton Rouge, got me some gumbo. Went to Houston, and then I flew my sister to Houston because my sister was going to help me to make the drive to Guadalajara. Now, that's what my entry into Mexico. That went fine. Uh, when I was coming back, I had to come back. I'm still, right now, I am in my home in Atlanta. And so I'm heading back, and I knew I was going to be here for at least 2 months, because I had a 50th birthday party for my cousin, three graduations, and I had some business to take care of. So I knew I would be back in the States for a while. I didn't want to leave my dogs, um, there, for that long. I've got a great sitter, but I don't want to have my dogs separated that long. So again, I fly my sister down, to San Miguel, and we start to make the drive back to the U.S. because I'm taking my car, taking my dogs. We start driving, everything's great. We go to a city called, Saltillo. It is about 3 hours from the border. Now, I go to a hotel. When we first came, that's the hotel I stayed at. I need a hotel that will accept my dogs and that's okay for me. So again, we made it to that location so we could rest for the night. So we drive there the 7 hours. I get to the, we check in, and then so we got to eat. So I asked the guy, I said, can you, give me some recommendations for a restaurant? And he said, you should eat in the hotel restaurant. And I said, give me a restaurant. He said, eat in the hotel restaurant. And I'm like, no, seriously, I want a restaurant out there. He said, no, really, you should eat in the hotel restaurant. And I go, okay. I just thought he was trying to upsell me, right? So I don't want to eat in the hotel. So I just said, okay, we're gonna go out. So we go out and go get some tacos and some mango. And we got one more thing: food poisoning. I'm not sure what did it, but I believe it was the mango that did it. When we first get back to the hotel, my sister's tearing that mango up. So she gets, like, a couple hours later, she doesn't feel good. So she starts throwing up. And so it's coming out this way, coming out that way, coming out this way, coming out that way. Oh my goodness. And I'm trying to figure out what I can do for her. So remember, we were only supposed to stay here one night. I go out to the pharmacies and grab all the stuff that I think will help her stomach and help her out. And so, she takes that, nothing's working. I go talk to so we're on the next day. I go talk to the staff again and say, I think, can you suggest a place for me to go? A good pharmacy or a good doctor? Now, in Mexico, the pharmacies have a little doctor's office attached to it. They are real doctors, trained just the same way as an American doctor. So I go, we take her to the doctor, and the doctor prescribes some stuff. We go back home. We go back home and not home. Go back to the hotel, and she takes all that stuff. Nothing's working. So now we're on the second day, and Dee gets sick, right? So now I'm sick, and oh boy, this way, that way, this way, that way. I have never been this sick before in my life, ever. I've had COVID before, and I've never been this sick. So now we're calling the hotel, and they're giving us broth, and they're giving us Jello and stuff. So I have some experience being around foster kids and foster babies and stuff. And so there's something called failure to thrive, and that is where a child can actually die. So I remember laying on the bed, and I'm just, can't really hold myself up, just leaning, and I'm trying to make it to the bathroom. It takes me 45 minutes to get to the bathroom. And then once I'm in the bathroom, it takes me another 30 to 35 minutes to come back to the bed. So I remember just being so weak. And I'm in a WhatsApp group. So I'm in the group, and Tracy says, Dee, where are you? And I tell them where I am. And she says, "What's your room?" I tell her the room. About 1 minute later, boom, 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 boom. Door. Somebody's knocking at the door, and I'm like, "Oh God, what's going on? What's going on?" They said, "Listen, we can get in the room. We have a key. Do you want us to come in?" So I make it to the door. I'm okay. Yeah, you can come in. I get to the door, open the door. They said, "We can call you a doctor," right? So I think Tracy done sent the Gestapo here, right? And I said, "Yes, we need a doctor. We need a doctor." So they call a doctor. Uh, they find out, I find out later that the woman at the desk knew another lady whose husband was a doctor. It was his day off. She called her friend. Her husband said, "Well, they're foreigners, so I got to go help them on his day off." He was a Haitian man. He is a Haitian man. He comes to the hotel, and he checks my sister out and writes down her stuff, gets her vitals and everything. Now he wants to check me out, and he's squeezing me real hard. I'm like, hey, you kind of hurting me. And he keeps doing this. He says, "You guys have to go to the hospital." He couldn't find my pulse. So he takes us. Now listen, in Mexico, you can go to a hospital, but it doesn't work the way it does in the US. You have to have someone advocate for you, meaning either you or your family has to bring you food, have maybe not water, but if you need anything, your family needs to be the one to bring it to you. They don't just supply that stuff in the hospital. He says, "I'll be your advocate. It's no problem." All right, cool. So we go to the hospital. And by the way, they took us out of that hotel in wheelchairs. And again, I've got my truck. So the guy gets in my car. He drives us to the hospital. A doctor came to my hotel, drove me to the hospital. Go to the hospital, and they give us IVs. We needed 2 IVs, and my sister needed one more thing. I don't remember what that was. So after we get the IVs, now that's right, dehydrated. So now we're not dehydrated, and I go out walking, but my sister's still in the wheelchair. She's fine. So he takes us back to the car, drives us back to the hotel, drops us off, makes sure we're in the room. He goes home. All right, so we're feeling better. We get us some sleep. And then we say, "All right, we got to get out of here. We need to leave." So, but we don't feel as good as we felt just after the IVs. So we said, "Okay, we're going to call the doctor, and we're going to get one more IV, and then we're going to head back." Now, it is going to be 22 hours to the U.S. and 7 hours back to San Miguel. We're going back to San Miguel. So we call him. He comes over. He checks us out. He says, "You guys are not going to make that." He says, "I'm going to drive you back home." But he says, "I'm going to drive you." And I'm thinking, okay, we need help. But I don't know him. It's my truck. He could do something, we could drive him through the desert or something. Something might happen. I ain't got no other choice. I have no family here. My family's right here. Okay. And so my sister. And so he says, "I need to stop and get a sweater." A sweater. He's gonna do something to us. Oh God, oh God. We got enough energy though. We from Chicago. Come on, let's go to get your sweater. Right. So we drive to his house. His wife comes out with a sweater, and his kids come out. She give him a little lunch, and that man drove us back to San Miguel. On the way going back to San Miguel, we got stopped by the police. So my truck it's cute. It's red too, okay, and it's big. So I'm pretty sure he was not speeding. I'm sure of that. The police pull us over, and you see the 3 black people, and he Haitian. Oh goodness. Well, he gives them all his stuff. He's Haitian, but he's been in the U.S. I'm sorry. He's been in Mexico for 24 years, I think. And he speaks 5 languages, if I remember. I think it was 5. Spanish being one of them. So he tells them, "No, you guys are doing this wrong. No, I haven't done anything wrong." And so I give them my paperwork. Now they want to find something wrong with my paperwork. Ain't nothing wrong with my paperwork. So they want to look at her passport. What you looking at her passport for? It's not stamped. Give me a stamped right there. So they're gonna try and wait us out a little bit. So they wait behind the truck for like 5 or 10 minutes, and they say, "All right, let them go." So they let us go. That man continued on, drove me all the way back to San Miguel, 7 hours. He before we got to my house, he stopped at a restaurant to get us some broth and some food, right? So then we get back to my house, and he's gonna take the bus back that night. So I got a picture of this man sitting on my couch, just playing around on his phone. Very pleasant guy. He is a missionary, and he says he at one point in time he needed help, so he knows he has to. It is his job to help other people. So that night, I drive him to the bus station. This is the same night, right? He just drove 7 hours and then had to wait some hours before the bus was there. So now he's going to ride back 7 more hours. It's going to be 7 more because he's not driving the car. He's not driving the bus. The bus is going to take longer. And he had a class the next day. Those are the kind of experiences I have in Mexico. That man had a class that he had to teach a class the next day. And I am still in touch with him. As a matter of fact, I saw someone put it there. I've actually put this story in one of my videos on my channel. These are the kind of things I run into all the time. After I got back home, we weren't well. It took it took me 3 weeks to get myself together. Now, going back to who called the staff, Tracy didn't call them. No one in that group called the staff to my room. I think my mother sent the staff to that room. And I think my mother sent that doctor to me, right? Both her babies in that room. And later I asked him, I said, listen, I felt like I could die. I said, was I correct? He said, yes, you could have died. Being dehydrated and having food poisoning, I don't want nobody to feel that. I just don't. Did you what? Should I be answering these? Oh, I'm hosting, am I?
You're hosting. Answer any question you want.
I gotta scroll up now. You can.
I just see some good ones. Let me see, where were we? But first, before we get to other people's questions, because my questions take priorities.
That's right.
What did you take from that experience overall?
This is where I needed to be.
Okay.
And when I say that, I mean in Mexico in general, because I promise you, those are the experiences that I have. I saw a show you did with someone where you guys were talking about, you said that Mexican people mind their own business. I disagree with that a little bit. No, they don't. All right. I have been in lines where I'm doing my best Spanish and my best Google, right? And I'm getting, like, I've tried to get instructions from somebody and I watch their hands. They say, go this way, go that way, go this. Okay. All right. I got it. And someone behind me will say, excuse me, do you need me to help you?
Yes.
Absolutely. Come on in here. What you got?
Yes.
Or I've had people in Guadalajara. We had a guy, we were out at a festival, the Light Festival, and we were about to take a picture and he fell out of the picture. And I went, what are you doing? And I looked, he fell out. So we thought someone did something to him. Oh, what's going on? No, he fainted, right? So we went to go help him. The Mexicans said, move. They came in there and took care of him, sat him down, got him water, all this kind of stuff. Called the what do you call it? The EMTs over.
This is someone who was with you?
No.
This is a stranger?
It was strangers.
No. The person who fell out.
No. The guy that fell out was with us.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
No.
And so,
go ahead.
So the group of people, we're going to try and tend to our person.
Mm-hmm.
Those people, those Mexicans told us to get out the way.
Mm-hmm.
They took care of him.
No. Right? When I say they mind their own business, I mean they don't stare at you walking down the street most of the time. They leave you alone. But like I said, I will be on a corner just looking at my phone, like responding to an email, and someone thinks I'm lost, and someone will walk up like, "Do you need some help?" But I'm like, "Nope. I'm just happen to be pausing on the street corner. I'm good." But like, yes, there is the helpfulness, I think, overrides
Yes.
most things.
Yes.
But they're not snitching, they're not testifying, as far as
No,
I can tell,
I
right?
ain't, I ain't seen none of
Like
that.
if your friend happened to fall out from something, people would have come to help him, but nobody would have seen what happened. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like
exactly.
that is my impression of the experience.
I'll help you, but I ain't testifying.
I don't know. I don't know who stabbed him, but like
Right.
Band-Aid, right? Like, very glad to hear that your story ended well. You have some good stories, girl. That story of your travel experience ended well, and that doctor was sent to you because there are so many different things about who he is in the world that were extremely helpful to you in that moment.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure, for sure. I mean, he's a great stand-up guy. He really is. And the fact that here I am, and I'm in a city that I don't know anyone. If it was Guadalajara, if it was San Miguel, I can get help. These people don't know me. The hotel staff has seen me once before or dealt with me for a couple days since I've been there. But somebody dropped a Haitian that spoke multiple languages in my lap.
Oh,
Appreciate it. Thank you.
thank you.
Right.
No, and I think that there's probably something there about within him about being an immigrant too, in which he could like really understand your and know how hard it
For
would be
sure.
to get through that, where someone in their own home country might not really put together the challenges you were going to face over the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
So yes, that's really important. Okay, let's get some of these questions. Kyoka from the Awkward Black Nomad asks,
Thank you.
but I wonder how much race plays into mistaking someone as masculine. It's giving y'all all look the same.
Okay, so that was one person that happened to with me in Mexico. It happens more here, and that's probably true. That I'm dark, right? So people will think I'm more aggressive. That's one. They will think a child is older, you know. So yes, race is going to play a part in that. But for Mexico, that's not it hasn't been a thing at all. I've traveled around Mexico long enough to know that I'm not having negative experiences. Now, part of that is because again, I'm very outgoing and people want to talk to me. People come talk to me all the time, and that's fine. So I don't have issues like that. Now, if I were somebody kind of walking around like this, maybe, but other than that, it doesn't happen.
All right, thank you. Kat wants to know, did you buy a car in Mexico?
I did not. I am in my retirement car. I bought this car prior about, I think I got it in January. I don't know. I bought it the same year. It's not brand new. I don't buy brand new. I bought it the same year that I went to Mexico. So I got temporary residency on purpose so that I could take my car. If you have permanent residency, you cannot do that. And just in case I went there, it would allow me to get around the way I wanted to, but it also would, if I decided it wasn't for me, I could take my butt back with no issue. And I didn't want to sell a car and find out that Mexico wasn't for me.
Okay. Thank you. What's going on? There are some. Zolani from Black Flourishing and Free says, do you think it's important to carry your passport or other papers with you on a daily basis in Mexico?
They tell you to carry your passport. I do not. I carry my papers with me. I have a copy of my passport. I don't want to lose something like that. So, no, I do not bring those things with me. The papers that I'm speaking of, there's something called a temporary import permit, right? That's my tip for my car. In that packet is a copy of my passport and, oh, goodness. I actually do carry my temporary residency card, but that's just like your ID. I have to carry that one.
Okay. I have a driver's license, so I carry that instead of a Mexican driver's license. I carry that instead of my residency card because the driver's license is really easy to get and replace. And
did I tell you? Did you say once that all you got to do is pay for it? There's no test. Okay. All right. D getting the driver's license.
It's different in every state, but in Mexico City, you just go to the mall and hand them some money and some
The
ID.
mall. Oh
The
dear.
mall.
Okay.
There's a kiosk in the mall and like an actual DMV office in the mall. The most complicated question they asked me was, "What's your blood type?" And I was like, "Girl, I don't know." Other than that,
Can anyone, was it because you live in Mexico City? Can anyone go there? All right, I'm going there. We're going there
okay.
soon.
Okay, so they did ask us for proof of address, and I don't know what would have happened if our address was out of state, but
Okay.
the address didn't have to be my address. They asked one of the people who came had like a they wouldn't accept her document, so
Uh
they were
huh.
like, "Use your friends."
Okay.
As and like we don't live in the same place. They were like,
Right.
just use her proof of address. Like, what is it? So
Right.
any old phone bill, any old
I'll try in San Miguel when I go back. I'll try and get one.
yeah, I
Thank
don't know
you.
how complicated it is. Other place. Yeah, no, it's a building where the kiosk is to pay. There's a building where you can take your photo, you wait a little while.
Okay.
Someone was talking about there was a man in the office talking about how like difficult it was to do. And I was like, you show up, you sit around and you wait, not even that long. We got in and out in like maybe 90 minutes, the whole thing. And I was like, oh, you've never been to an American DMV. Because baby, last time I went, we was in Florida, and they were like, what you do is you stand line outside in the sun in this line
Oh dear.
for hours, and
Right.
then you go inside and go through the rigmarole.
Yeah. People always want things faster than they should get them.
I was like, it's so complicated here. Why did they do? I was like,
I tell you what. Go back home. See how complicated it
no,
is.
he was Mexican, but I
Oh.
think he was from a different state.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
A different state where things may have been easier than Mexico City.
Okay. Okay.
He was
Yeah.
like, "It's so hard." I was like, "Oh no, baby, this is. I just got to give him some cash." Okay, so thank you, Zolani. I see your other question. We're gonna get to that in a minute. They're asking you all kinds of good questions. Let's see. Boop 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 boop. Another one from Kyoko. Can we talk about driving into Mexico with your dogs? So
Yes.
traveling with your dogs, how's that been?
All right. I got two little ghetto dogs, and they are little dogs. One of them is a Chihuahua, and the other one is black. That's all I know. I have an 18-pound something. He's mixed with terrier. I don't. Oh, there's one up. Well, you can't see him. Anyway, I've got an 18-pound little Rottweiler. He ain't a Rottweiler. He's just a black terrier. And then I got a 14-pound Chihuahua Rottweiler. That's what they think they are.
Okay.
My dogs are not trained. Now, that's not their fault. That's my fault. I partially am okay with them not being trained. When I drove into Mexico, I had no real problems. I On the way to Guadalajara, we got turned around a little bit. So I think there were about 9 stops, and a couple of them, uh, two of them, I think the person was trying to get money out of me. So my dogs do not allow people to walk down the street without barking at them. And so they are certainly not going to let you walk to my car. So having dogs, little yappy dogs, was actually a benefit to me because when the people come over, if you're going to try and get some money out of me, I'm difficult because they got to deal with the dogs barking. They have to deal with me acting like I don't understand nothing you saying. So if
What?
I can't understand that you had just asked me for a bribe, I can't give it to you.
Right.
So one guy says, I don't smoke. He says, I said, well, here's some water. Would you like water? And he was like, girl, get out of here. Thank you. My dogs are helpful in that they bark at
Mhm.
people to get them away from the car. It's been, I have to be careful about where I stay. So I have to make sure that they are going to accept my dogs or that I'm going to be in an area where there's grass. My dogs need grass, so those kind of things are the things that I keep in mind. The dogs are fine. They get in the car, lay down, and they're good. They know what's happening in the car. If the car is slowing down, they get up like, what's happening? Who we can bark at? But other than that, they're great. Yeah.
Okay. Um, Let's see. There's a question. There's a question. All right, let me see. Uh, for your,
Come here, Phoenix. Come here, baby.
we're gonna see the dogs.
Here's my little Rottweiler.
Oh,
Come here,
this is
baby.
the 18-pound black one.
It's the 18-pound killer.
Oh,
Come here, baby. Come here.
looks terrified.
Come on.
Like, why are you putting me on? I ain't asked to be on TV today. What you doing?
Here's the 14-pound Rottweiler.
Oh, such cuties.
And they will tear your ankles up. You hear me?
Such cuties. All right. So,
Shirt is awesome.
what would you?
Oh, her shirt.
I want to go back to your experience as a gay woman.
Okay.
What are the things? Is there any way that that fact and how you present as masculine of center, that those have colored your experience in Mexico, besides the things we've already talked about?
Has colored my experience. If I am in, all right, so I stayed in Guadalajara, and where I stayed originally, actually, I almost left. It was not good for me. I stayed in an area where there was no grass and there was graffiti and all this kind of stuff. I didn't know that the place was beautiful on what do you call it, on Airbnb. They didn't show the outside.
Okay.
So but and I had booked the thing for 3 weeks. So now I'm in this place, and sometimes I've got to walk my dogs very late. So I would have to walk them toward a big park to get some grass for them. And I remember doing this at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning and being out and thinking, unless some people are out here, some are homeless or whatever, or maybe going to work. Uh, I am not a small girl. I am 5'5", but I'm not small, right? So my size, the way I walk, the things that I wear, sometimes may keep people off me if they thought they were going to do something. But again, it's never been something where I've never felt threatened, but maybe I don't feel threatened because in most cases, people are trying to be around me because I'm a bubbly person, or they look at me and go, that ain't no target. No, I ain't no target. Right. Um, I've not had anyone feel that anyone was, didn't want to be around me or were discriminating against me or anything like that. I've never felt like um, my landlord, my former landlord in Guadalajara, she lives, it was an older woman. I dealt with her daughter, but the older woman lived in a very, very nice area in Guadalajara. It's called Valle Real. And that woman invited me to her home, and this is a very Catholic uh, woman, right? So they would invite me over for meals, or people. I don't have trouble. I just don't. So it's never been an issue for me. And if it has, and I just and have not recognized it, I didn't notice. It was never blatant or anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You feel like the community is more accepting than the U.S. You've mentioned a couple
Absolutely.
of times
Absolutely.
there for you.
And people are, the other thing is I see other gay people out, and they're, holding hands and kissing and all this stuff. That was actually a draw for me when I first went. And I said, well, okay, this will be all right. This is cool for me. And I will see masculine women, Mexican women out. They've invited me to things. So yeah, it's not been an issue. As Catholic as that country is, at least I haven't seen it. Right? I've been to all of the touristy areas. I've been to a large city now. It's not been an issue. Now, maybe if I went to a smaller town, maybe. But again, I drive through Mexico and I've stopped in very small towns and no one is ever, you want some tacos? Absolutely. What you got? You know, nothing.
Yeah. I think that's that for me that's part of a like minding their own business, right? Like
Yeah.
what you got going on ain't got nothing to do with me. You
Right.
need help.
Exactly.
Would you like a taco? Right? Like um do you see yourself in Mexico for the long term?
I do. I do. I I right now can't. I'm actually home packing up some things. I got a lot to pack up, so this is going to take a while. But I don't know that I could stay here long term anymore. I love Chicago. Um, that's my network, right? I didn't build great relationships here in Atlanta. The people here are not. They're a little pretentious, and I'm not saying that any of you guys are. And by the way, if you're here, you're probably not, right? So uh, this is not this suburb stuff ain't my scene, and Atlanta is not my scene. It's not. I'm not trying to be a rapper. I'm not trying to run behind Tyler Perry. I'm not trying to be a housewife, right? So I just don't. I don't gel with those folks, right? And once I went to Mexico and the benefits that I found there, I can't. Ain't no way I'm coming back to this for good. I'm not going to do it. When I went there, when I first came to Mexico, I had a torn meniscus, and since then, I'm sorry, I had a torn meniscus. I had high blood pressure. I was pre-diabetic, and I was 30 pounds heavier. I've lost 30 pounds. My blood pressure has gone in line, normal, and I'm no longer pre diabetic. Why would I come back here? Now, I'm sorry. I was pre diabetic before I left Mexico. When I came back here, I've put on weight since I've been here. And I've had some ailments, and my blood pressure has risen since I've been back here. And that's in a little bit more than 2 months. Ain't no way I'm staying here long term. I'm not going to do that.
Okay. And no other country is calling you right now.
I had planned to do a lot more traveling. Like I was going to check out, Portugal. I was going to check out Panama, right? But traveling with my dogs, I know that Kyoka has done it, and I think she has two dogs. Um, I would give it a shot, but the community that I have here, I don't know that I would want to leave the community now, right? That's been the draw for me. Uh, San Miguel is a big town. That's all it is. It's just a big town. And there are some things that I have an issue with, but they're not so much that they're going to make me leave. And the things that I have issue with are they got narrow streets. They've got very steep streets, and they've got cobblestone streets. I like to drive, and I ain't going to do all that walking up no cobblestone street. So all I did is just make sure I'm living in an area that I can get around well enough, right? And I only go into the cobblestone areas when I need to. I'm not going to leave that community though.
Okay.
Right.
Do you prefer San Miguel to Guadalajara?
If I could take the people and the vibe from San Miguel and take them jokers and put them in Guadalajara, we going to Guadalajara.
Okay. Okay. So all things being equal, it's Guadalajara, but the community in San Miguel is what you really like.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Do you speak Spanish? If not, do you find it difficult to communicate? Oh, that's not what I want to do. Here we go. Do you find it difficult to communicate with folks?
Un poquito. I speak a little Spanish. I used to live in a Puerto Rican and a Mexican neighborhood in Chicago, and so I can understand more than I can speak, right? And so between the people being patient and me doing my best to get my point across, and Google translates, I'm good. Um, no, I don't find it difficult to communicate with people there at all.
Okay. Thank you. All right. The people want us to talk about money
Oh
because
boy, what you got?
right? wait a minute, it's the people, not me. It's
A
not.
people's,
It's the
what the people's
people.
got. Let me
Um,
settle myself down.
Time for a little snacky snack or something. What's going on? A little,
My sugar loaf.
what's happening? All right. So Dr. T asks, what's the question for you? What are tips to find a good financial advisor? First, stop. Break it down. Tell me about what you do for people who don't know you, what you do. You said earlier you're a financial coach. Let's talk a little bit more about
Yes.
that, then we'll answer this question.
All right. I am not a financial advisor, not a financial advisor, not a financial planner. I am someone that has done very well managing my money and building my own wealth. I am a former engineer for AT&T, um, and I am an investor in real estate as well as in the stock market. Right, and I've been doing that for uh, real estate 28 years, investing 35 years. So from that, all along the way, I have been helping other people build their wealth. And, um, like I used to be the Susie Orman of my neighborhood. My friends would come to me and say, "D, can I buy this?" And I look and go, denied, you know. So from that, it's morphed into me helping more people. Uh, Black folks are not in a good financial way right now. Not right now. They've been that way. And if I can do anything in helping people bring themselves up that way, that's what I want to be able to do. And so, um, under the name of Brown Girls Invest Too, is how I started doing it this way, charging more for my services because I there's a lot of people that are not doing things to help themselves financially, or they're having trouble doing it. And if I can show you ways to figure that out, that's what I'm doing. Stephanie Perry is what got me started with Brown Girls Invest Too. So now you asked, what are good ways to find a financial aid?
No. We're going to get here.
We're gonna get there. Okay.
I asked you to tell the people what you do. I mean, you started, you gave them a little bit, but like you didn't.
So people, what I do? Okay, so
How do you help people?
okay. People hire me to
Here
help
we
them
go.
build their wealth. Now I have service. I'm a day trader as well. All right, so I have services where I won't teach you how to trade, but I will tweak your trading and make you a better trader. All right, that's
Okay.
one thing. The other thing I will do is if you feel like you're not on track with your finances, you come to me and we can look at what you've got, whether it's your savings, whether it's your employer sponsored plans, or if you don't have any of that, we can get you going with that. And so most times, people are in banks. They're in big banks where they're making no interest. We change that. They might be in funds in their retirement accounts, or if they own anything, right? A lot of times they're in things that are underperforming. So I teach you how to look at those things and help you better them. Okay. Um, that's what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do people get in contact with you for that stuff?
They can go to browngirlsinvest2.com. If you go to my YouTube channel, those links are on there as well. You can book time with me that way. I was supposed to say something. I forgot what it was.
Maybe about a Patreon?
Oh God, thank you. I'm having trouble promoting myself.
Well, this is why we have friends, right? This is why we have community. Because
yes, thank you. Yes, I have a Patreon. I just started a Patreon. Now, I I've been doing this quite a while. Let me say one thing about it. I used to want to be a financial advisor or a planner, but you need to get a license for that. Now, it's not a problem getting a license. It's what a person that is licensed can't do. They cannot tell you certain things, and usually they're trying to sell you something that they may benefit from. If you're going to get a financial advisor, you need to get a fee simple one, fee only, right? So that means they look at you, give you a plan, here's your thing, that's it. Anything they put you in, they're not going to benefit from it. Those other people will. If you come join my Patreon, I can show you some of the trades that I do throughout the day or throughout the week, or some of the things I invest in. I can also give you the logic to why I'm investing in those things. I am a long term investor, so I've got a good handle on particular industries. I favor tech, but I've got my eye on other things. My portfolio is fairly um, I've got a decent portfolio. And so I help other people put themselves in a position where they can have their money work for them.
Okay.
And my Patreon is Brown Girls Invest Too.
Number two or word two?
TOO. TOO. Yeah.
All right. Now,
Yeah.
now, what are tips to find a good financial advisor?
Make sure that they are paid by fee only.
Okay.
That's one.
Okay.
And let me say something. I hope there are none in here. I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm telling you my experience. I have been to financial planners and financial advisors before. Most times, they are not doing as well themselves personally as I would expect them to be doing. And I'm not going to anyone that doesn't know how to treat their money better than I do, right? No one's going to take care of your money better than you. You may think you need a financial advisor, but the information is out here. I'm not trying to say don't go get one. You can just check their credentials and make sure they're not putting you in something that they're going to benefit from. I see that too often.
Okay. Perfect. All right. What is something about money that you wish more people in your community knew or understood?
How well it can work for you, right? I think that people think you need a lot of money. You don't need a lot of money. You need a little money. You need to be consistent with it. That's all. Once you understand that your money it's gonna make more money for you than you ever will. You don't have the amount of time that you need to make money. We have a finite amount of time. You have a certain amount of hours in the day where you're going to work for money. But if your money is working for you right now, I'm sitting here right now. I bet you somebody to put my name on a check. I'm pretty sure of it, right? Tracy too. She got some the other day, right? Um, I think if they knew, the more money you make, the more ways you find out there's other ways to make money.
Ooh, speak to that a little bit more. Give us more on that.
Listen. A couple of years ago, I got into a meetup group here in Atlanta, and the meetup group is a group of people that have reached a certain level, right? So I'm in there, and I'm one of the pepper specs. It's not many of us, and I got in there. Now I know what I know. I've been doing this for a minute, and then I go sit in this room of people that have got more money than me, and find out. I said, "Wait, I can do what?" And they're helpful with telling you, "Yeah, you can make money this way. You can make money that way. This way, that way. This way, that way." The more money you have, you find out it's more ways that your money can make money, right? Unfortunately, the people that need that information are the people that don't have any money or have smaller amounts of money. I wish that they knew that it is easy to put your money to work for you, right? And that it is safe for you to do it. I know in years past, we've had situations where people stole from us. No other way to put it. They just stole from us, right? That's gone though. Uh, it used to be hard to invest in the stock market. I come from a time if you wanted to invest in something, you had to go get a big old newspaper, right? And you had to go this way and then down here. Oh, there it is. And then read this information. You don't have to do that anymore. You got this thing right here will make you a ton of money, right? The information is right there. It's right at your fingertips. And you have not only me, you got people right in this audience right now that can help you get your money together.
You said that when you have more money, you realize there's more ways to make more money. Are you comfortable speaking to some of those ways? Since you said we should know.
It's It's a
We don't need
lot.
a lot of detail. We don't need a lot of just
Wait,
some things out.
I mean, just like different funds that you don't know anything about because you may not have the amount of money that you need, or different vehicles that I never would have thought that that's a way to make money, or buying art or things like this. There's a lot of different ways to make money.
Okay.
Millionaires tend to make their money. They have 7 different income streams. Think about how many income streams you. I'm not talking about you, Rashida. You guys, and don't put them in there. You don't even got to write it.
No, do write it. Do write it. How many income?
Yeah, that's right. Get that engagement going. Let's go. Let's go. Right?
No, not even engagement. I'm nosy. Come on, tell us.
Yeah.
How many
You
income streams do
put
you
a
have?
few income streams in there, and I want to know if you even know what the income streams are.
I want to know, D, how many income streams do you have?
6.
Okay. That was real quick. I was gonna have to count for a second.
I used to have 5. I've got 6 right now. Yeah. Anyway, so some of them are interest, dividends, capital gains, right? Huh? What's wrong?
I'm counting in my head how many income streams I have.
I was like, what's going on here? Anyway, they've got money. Rich people are not working for their money like that. I promise you they're not. They're at home.
Okay. All right.
Thank God. Never mind. Anyway.
Aileen says, that's how I learned about the stock market, reading the newspaper. The only thing was they all required 1,000 to get started, unlike today where you can do the stock slices. Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to do that anymore. You can buy a fractional share now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I wish here's one thing. I wish they would stop trying to hit a home run. Okay. You don't have to hit a home run. People are always, I heard about this new company. You don't need a new company. There's tons of companies out here that can make money for you. Now, I'm not saying that, emerging markets, I'm not saying not to invest in them, but I'm saying don't be looking for a needle in a haystack. Don't do that. You don't have to. Follow the big boys. The big boys putting their money there, you put your money there. That's
How
what
do
I
you know where the big boys are putting their money?
The S&P 500 has the top 500 companies in the U.S. market. Right? Let's look at the top 10. That's where you put your money.
Okay.
Right? Even if you're doing it in an ETF or an index fund or something like that. You walk, not you. I'm saying you guys. I'm sorry. And by the way, I used to work with a lot of men, so I speak.
It's fine.
Okay. So y'all walk around here with 5 and 6, Apple products. If that's the case, please own Apple because you trust that company. You continue to give that company money. Own that company. If you're walking around here wearing, you open up your closet and you got 200 pairs of Nike, oh my God, you better have some Nike stock. Those are the things I'm talking about. We use the products all the time. Just support the companies that you use. You know that the product's been here for years. You know the company has been here for years. Those are the companies you invest in. People too often say, I don't know how to invest. Okay, there's a lot of information out here. That's fine. We can educate ourselves on that. I don't know what to invest in. Invest in them 5 phones you got there.
Okay. So investing in products that we already use, in the brands that we love. What do you think is the biggest barrier to entry for investing? What's the biggest barrier for entry for investing for Black women?
Education.
Education about what to invest in?
About how to get started and what to invest in. Yes. Because it is not, it can't be money. I'm sorry. Let me say that again. I apologize for saying that. In some cases, people don't have enough money. They just don't. But there are other cases where you have the money. It's just what you're doing with your money. Now, that's your decision to decide what you do with your money. But please don't say, I don't have enough money to invest or to put to the side, and you go get, you're putting your money into things that don't make money. You're putting your things into things that don't appreciate. You got the money. It's just how you decided to use it, right? So again, that's not for the people that just don't have it. If you can find ways to cut from certain budgets, if you got subscriptions that I'm paying for uh, we used to have cable. You pay one fee for cable TV. Now you go pay for 10, 12 different apps. I can't even watch TV right now. I promise you I can't, because I don't know how to operate it. Now I know how to go look and go do YouTube. That's it. I don't know how to watch TV,
All
right?
right.
So stuff like that. Find money within your own budget and put that money to work for yourself.
Okay. Now, find money, put it to work for yourself. If you said the biggest barrier is education, they don't know how to start. Tell us how to start.
Call me. Ha! Call me. Call me. Call Adelia. Call Rashida, right? There's people out here doing it. You don't even you don't even have to call me. Get on the internet. You're on the internet now. Look some things up, right? Or if you do nothing else, just open yourself up a brokerage account.
I was just gonna say, can we give them like a basic 1-2 step, right? Go to a brokerage. Do you have a preferred brokerage house?
Fidelity.
Okay. So according to
All the
Dee,
big three. All the big three. Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab.
go to Fidelity, Vanguard, Schwab, and then what?
If you earn income, you could possibly get a Roth IRA. Now that there's income limitations. I'm not going into all the details of what you guys do. So Roth, ROTH. You guys look that up. See if you qualify income wise, because there's a cap. Okay. If you do not have earned income, there there are a lot of entrepreneurs in here. You guys can open up accounts like a SEP or a SEP, a simple IRA, individual retirement account. Okay, you can, if you have an employee sponsored plan. A lot of people are in their 401k, 403b, right? But they don't know what's in it, or they don't know how to look at it. They don't know what they're looking at. None of that. You can call the administrators of that plan, and their job, they're being paid to teach you how to operate in there. Now, a lot of companies will put people into you'll either see life cycle funds or you'll see target date funds. They're the same thing. If you're in one of those, you should still call me anyway. You should. Those things don't tend to perform; they underperform. So, if you've got time, young people have the better opportunity to make money because you've got the benefit of time. Older people have the benefit of having your mind set that this is what you want to do, right? You may make a little more money, but now you understand you're getting closer to the time where you got to, work may be ending for you or whatever the case. Now you ain't playing about this, right? So because you are more determined, you have more intention, that's your benefit, right? Those for the younger people, you got time. For the older people, you got intention. Either way, you can make money by putting those things into action for yourself.
Okay. Let's make this even simpler. Let's ignore like the what retirement plan is right for you.
Okay.
If you can't figure that out, if that feels too complicated, you can go to the big three.
Yes.
And open up a non-retirement account.
You can have a cash account, yes. And you can get yourself an index or an ETF. What you do is you get the total market, right? The U.S. has the largest and the most robust market on the planet, right? And so those, there's the index funds, right? So there's like the S&P 500. They're the top 500 companies. Are they all U.S.? Yes, U.S. companies. That thing is self-healing. Not just that, there's also the NASDAQ 100, okay? Index funds are, at least those are self-healing. When I say that, it means I said the top 500 companies. So if the bottom 3 companies have not been performing well, they kick them out. And then they bring in 3 more companies that have been performing better. But it's always going to be the top 500 companies. And that is, there's something called market capitalization, right? So they're the bigger companies that have the largest, how can I do that? They own the bigger share of whatever industry that is. If you need some help, think about this: buy the best of breed. Figure out what the best companies are in that particular industry. There are 11 different sectors across. There are 11 different sectors, right? So I'm not gonna name them all because I found out apparently can't do this. But I often tell people, I give you the example of companies in your home. In your home, anyone in your house, I can walk to your house and find all kind of Procter and Gamble products, and I can find all kinds of Johnson and Johnson products. Procter and Gamble has been here since 1837. If it's been here since 1837, I promise you they're not about to crumble. Okay, those are the kind of companies that you want to be invested in. Those are blue chip companies, right? Um, Johnson and Johnson has been here since 1886. So you have those products. Your mama had them. Your grandmama had them. Right? Those companies aren't going anywhere. Those are the things that you need to consider when you're about to invest in something. Don't go, all right, it's this new company, and I don't care about no new company, right? I'm sorry, I do want to AI. I do care about some new companies, right?
And we'll get to that.
We'll get to that, right? Um, you should care about companies that are tried and true. Johnson and Johnson and Procter and Gamble provide consumer staples. They are tissue, toothpaste, body wash, all this kind of stuff. That stuff y'all ain't gonna stop buying. And if you know they're not gonna stop buying, that company ain't going nowhere, right? Those are best in breed companies. If we want to talk about like technology, um, I'll talk about technology later. I want you to consider those are really old companies. So then you have teenage companies. So a teenage company is going to be a company like a Microsoft or an Apple, something like that. All y'all walk around with Apple phones, and if you there's only two kind of operating systems, right? You're gonna have Apple's operating system. You're gonna have Microsoft. That's it. Ain't no more. I mean, there are, but they don't they're not as prevalent in the market. Most of you guys, if you got a PC, you got you some Microsoft in there. If you got a PC, there's a good chance that you've got an NVIDIA chips in there, you got AMD chips in there. Those are companies that ain't going nowhere. Um, Healthcare. Can I do this? Oh God, I forgot. Eli Lilly and Humana. United Healthcare, Humana, Eli Lilly, Merck, right? Johnson and Johnson. Again, these are top companies. All you need to do is buy the total market. If you buy the total market, you're good. That's all you need to do.
Okay. So open a brokerage account, buy the total market,
Yes.
maybe get some more education, figure out what individual companies you are more interested in and go further. But basic, open an account, buy something.
Yes. Sit tight. Oh, and don't think you're gonna, you put money in there today, you think you rich tomorrow. No, give it some time. A lot of people will buy something, oh, it's going down. Let me sell it. Don't sell it. If you bought a company that's a good company, things are going to go up. I'm sorry. The market moves in a stair step manner. It pulls up, it goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back, goes up, pulls back. So there are times when the market comes down. That is not when you sell. You don't get scared, is what I'm saying. You put it in there, you know that you've bought a good product, and you be patient.
I think that what I see a lot is that people expect investing to be really complicated or really difficult and challenging. And then when they start doing it, when it's not, they're like, oh, it's not doing, like, it's boring. And like,
That's what you
I
want.
got to make it more complicated. And it's like, no,
No,
you just let your money just sit. You can just let that money sit. It'll be
right,
fine.
exactly.
Right.
Um,
And so I think there's a little bit of like, I don't want to call it shiny object syndrome, but it feels like, I think somewhere along the way, we've been told that like investing is too complicated for us. And so that when we start and it's not complicated, we think we're doing it wrong.
right.
That's just not true.
I hear a lot of people, well, people think that they don't know how to invest. Well, I'm scared of it. They don't talk about money, all these kinds of things. This is coming from people that are project managers and doctors and lawyers and stuff like that. If you are capable enough to run your whole department, you got direct reports, you're doing all this kind of stuff at work. You are well sought after in your work. Why do you think someone else would be better at handling your money? It's not the case. It's not the case. Um, with the shiny objects thing, the people that are the best investors, period. I'm not making this up, are dead people.
Huh.
It's dead people. And the reason it's dead people is because their accounts are invested in something, and because they dead, ain't nobody doing nothing with it. Right? There's not this put the money in, oh, it's low now, go buy it now, and then take it out. Put it in and take it out. You don't do that. You put your money in there, you let it work. You don't, maneuver with it and do all these different things with it. You don't have to.
All right, let's get back to the questions. Um, let's talk about AI. What are your thoughts about investing in AI?
You better do it now. Do it yesterday. Um, Artificial intelligence. There's a lot of analysts. This is not just coming from me. This is coming from people way smarter than me, been doing this way longer than me. Artificial intelligence is um, the internet. It's bigger than what happened with the internet. I'm not talking about what happened with Google or Microsoft. I said the internet. That is how big this revolution is going to be. I'm retired. I retired when I was 49, but I got helped being retired. And the way I got helped is, uh, so I started with my company I did 27 years. That's wrong. What happened? I forgot. Anyway, I did most of my career in Chicago. And then the last 3 years, it had to be, the last 3 years, I moved to Atlanta with my same company. So I got there and there was a voluntary uh, layoff. And I went, that ain't good. Okay. So they kept laying people off. So eventually they were getting to me. My company told me my department was being automated. That was 5 years ago that they thought they were automating a position.
Mm-hmm.
I was an engineer, y'all. Okay. Now, the fast forward with what the technology has done now, you can walk into a McDonald's and you got to go to a kiosk and order. I'm not going to that kiosk. I'm going to that girl right there. Tell her I want some French fries. But eventually, those people are going to go away. Start looking in your grocery stores. You do self checkout. People are being people are being automated out of their jobs. Okay, so now in thinking about AI, think about whatever industry you're in. If you see evidence of certain functions within your job or within someone else's job around you being automated, you better believe that the things that you're doing can be automated as well. I don't want people to miss this train right now. Not to say this is the only time frame that it can happen, but if you get in right now, you can take a few $1,000s, couple $100s, and you can be early retired very soon because of what's coming within AI. Right? Um, there are there's different functions of it. So right now, I am mostly focusing on the backbone of it. The backbone of it is what is enabling it, right? So now you can people think, oh, I got Chat GPT. It wrote me a paper. Chat GPT do more than that, a whole bunch more. And the things that you can generate with artificial intelligence, they're not going to need us as much. So if you're not putting your money to work now and you think, well, I'll just get another job. If you're not training yourself to be able to work with those things, you should at least be benefiting financially so that when the people tap you on your shoulder, it's okay. I can go because I'm financially ready to go.
Okay. I want to ask something probably a little controversial. They say that AI generally is, because of the amount of energy it consumes, is very bad for the environment. So how do you reconcile investing in things that are not
Okay.
great for the environment or for the community? There are a lot of, and I say that knowing that a lot of the funds that the big three offer companies that individually you might be like, am I investing in a prison without like if I dig deeper, like what's in there? So how do you reconcile that?
I am not a social. Um, I'm not a socially conscious investor
Okay.
because uh, if it's something horrible and I know it's horrible, I'm not going to invest in it. However, just like you said, in being in some funds, there's top companies in those funds, but way down there might be a company that builds prisons. I'm not going to not invest in that. Now, if I wanted to, if I felt that strongly about it, I just don't. Now, let me say why I don't. If you are a customer of some of the big banks, do you support slavery? Because they did, right? There's a lot of companies that have invested in some jacked up crap, right? I can't, just because uh, I disagree with it, I'm not going to stop my money behind it. I'm not supporting those things. That's what they did in the past. Many of the top companies are top companies because they done something horrible.
Right. But we're not talking about the things they used to do. We're talking about people who were like invested in companies who were still doing things that are detrimental to usually the global south, right? Like the
Sure.
the the things that are bad for the environment hit places like Africa,
Understood.
Asia, worse than,
So do
America.
pharmaceutical companies.
Right.
They're investing, I'm sorry, they make things to, uh, okay, we're going to fix your high blood pressure, but I promise you they're going to give you six more things.
Okay. So when you invest, it's not a consideration.
I'm not, I'm not capitalist beyond all. I'm not that. However, I don't dig so deep into a company say, oh, well, no, they do something that I don't like. I'm not going to make money that way. I don't do that. If they making their money that way, I'm going to make my money that way
Okay.
because I need to be able to compete with them on some level. I need to have, I'm not going to sit here. I'm going to just, let's just stop doing it. I'm not about to lessen my bag while other people are making money and putting me at a disadvantage. If you want to get your reparations some kind of way, pull it out of the market.
So and this is not like me judging because I'm investing in all kinds of stuff, but also I
That's
know,
all them funds you got.
listen, the socially conscious fund I am invested in is, I think, the weakest performer of all the funds I have. It's hard to make money and do well at the same time,
Sure.
right?
Yes. Yes.
I have a blockage as personally as far as even using AI, because I understand that like it oh, I don't know how it's sustainable as a model, right? Like that, and like the same way Bitcoin mining does is the same like
Yeah.
usage of power that we don't have, right? On the planet. So yeah, I struggle with that personally.
I understand all that, and I feel some of the same ways. But at the same token, I am not going to put myself at a disadvantage. It because I can. I'm not doing it. That ain't gonna stop them from doing it.
Right.
So, all right, how much money are we making? That's what I'm doing. I'm sorry, it just is.
Okay. So Halisi says, I refuse to invest in Meta. They help overthrow governments. They then give the everyday person heartaches trying to use their platforms. So I guess my question for Halisi would be, does that mean that you don't invest in any funds that
Right.
include Meta? Because that,
That's my question as well.
right? Like you got to look. Because like I have no love for Amazon, but Amazon is in almost every single one of the funds I have, just because everybody like All the brokerage companies, all the index funds are invested in Amazon.
They're invested in the top companies. Those
Right,
are top companies.
right.
She's no girl. The funds are invested. No, huh?
No,
So you don't invest in Meta,
I think she does. We don't understand what you mean, Halisi.
right?
Um, and you don't have to answer it all if you don't want to. Right? Like, there's no pressure. Um, all right, so let's talk real quick about what you have coming up.
Exactly.
She's
Exactly.
invested. It's hard. Like I said, like I don't want to invest in Amazon, but
You cannot invest in individual companies if you feel very strongly about it.
yeah,
However, if it is a top company, it's a good chance
it's
it's in a
going up.
fund that you hold.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk about what you have coming up in San Miguel in the next few months.
All right. So, myself, along with 5 other wonderful women, uh, Tracy Collins, oh God, Michelle Wedderburn, Alam Williams, Bobby Robinson. We is that right? Oh, and Danielle. I'm sorry, and Danielle as well. Danielle Simmons. We are putting on a virtual summit that is redefining life abroad.
Okay.
Each of us have come from wherever we've come in the U.S. and found ourselves. We just so happen to be in the same city, but we are like-minded, like-hearted, and we're putting on this summit to help other people move themselves abroad. Now, I know that there's lots of talk of doing this. We're coming from the different perspectives that we are to give you the information to be able to not only move and leave the U.S., but to be able to stay gone, right? So a lot of times in Guadalajara, I've met people that really enjoyed being there and really enjoyed being in Mexico, but they couldn't financially figure out how to stay. And so for me, I will be helping people, put their money in a position where they can prepare to go, and then also while they're gone, sustain that. Right? Tracy Collins will cover wellness and Tracy Collins is a don't call her former. She is a CEO, right? She is a CEO of a company that she founded, built, and sold, right? She helps other Black women build their businesses and teaches them how to have the infrastructure to maintain that business and grow that business. Michelle Wedderburn owns Casa Elm. That is a luxury guest house in San Miguel. She moved. She's actually I'm going to say OG. She's been there the longest time. I think she's been in San Miguel in Mexico for 6 years, living there. Right? She came there and found a place and turned it into a guest house. Right? A Black woman building a brick and mortar business and she's going to show you how to do that. How to navigate the things you need to navigate within dealing with a municipality, any rules and regulations, how to work with people that will be working for you or working with you, right? Bobby Robinson, she's a licensed real estate agent, and her channel is oh God, she got a lot of channels. I forgot. I'm sorry. I got a lot going on right now. She is there with her husband, Aging Grateful. Sorry. Her instead, Bobby is teaching people how to come with their mate, how they come with their partner, their husband, their wife, and what you do as a married couple, what the things you need to figure out before you leave, and then things gonna change once you get there, and the dynamics that happens with all of that. We've got Alam. Williams is a little techie. She teaches people how to get government contracts and any back office thing that you need help with. She's going to be able to help you do that. Danielle. Danielle is a IT professional, and she moved to. There she is. I'm sorry about that. And Black married abroad as well. Danielle moved there with her husband, her 2 children, and her mother. And Danielle will speak to how a family makes the transition once they move abroad. All of those piece parts together, we're coming to you to bring you the things you need to be able to stay gone, right? And how to sustain yourself while you're away. That is what that conference is will be about. That's happening August 10th through 11th. We have another something happening later on in November, but you'll hear about that later.
Okay. August 10th through 11th. What do you, the Redefining Life Abroad Summit, what are you looking forward to the most about that summit?
Settling the nerves of people that don't know what to do. That's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to actually giving them tangible things to do. These are your steps. Boom, 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 boom. Go. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Yes, it got me.
are you talking about money?
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. So we talked about one thing about money that you would want us to know. Oh, back up a second.
Okay.
I already know the questions because the question is already here.
Okay.
Um, let's talk a little bit about managing money when you're not living in your home country, right? So one of the questions
Yeah.
that was asked was, do you find it challenging to have real estate in the States while living in Mexico?
I'm sorry. You went out. Do I find it challenging?
To have real estate in the States while living in Mexico.
Listen, I own property in Chicago. I have how many doors I got left? I have 3 doors left in Chicago. I had 8. I managed that long distance from Atlanta, and then I tried to manage that long distance when I was in Mexico. Since being in Mexico, I've sold off 6 of my doors. Um, yeah, yes, it is challenging, but I created some of that because I don't need to manage it myself. I could give it off to a property manager. I just chose not to. Um, I want to have eyes on my own property, and I don't tend to do things the same way that a property manager would do it. Part of my career when I worked for AT&T, I used to be a technician for 11 years. So I am accustomed to working with tools. Um, and because I'm accustomed to working with tools and out in the field, if I'm out driving and I see somebody doing cement, I go pull over and I go talk to them and I get their information because I don't want they say, here's the company name. I don't want the company name. The company ain't doing it. You're doing it. That's whose number I want. So that's the way I manage my properties. If I pass it off to a property manager, they're going to go and get licensed, bonded, more expensive people than I would get. So if you're doing it in the way that a manager is handling it, it might not be as stressful as what I've created for myself, but that's just my own choice to do it that way.
Okay. Okay. There's another real estate question or something related. Boom, boom, boom. There's a lot of questions. They had good questions for you today.
Okay.
Um, oh, I think it was about investing. I can't find it now, but it was about investing. Here we go. Do you own non-US equities? If so, is it hard to purchase shares in those markets?
Non-US, non-US. Yes. Okay. As a general rule, I try to invest in mostly US based companies, but I do that because that's what I have eyes on. I don't know what's happening in another country where there's a war about to break out or there's some unrest, right? So I typically won't invest in many international companies, but because the US companies are so large, they're global anyway, right? There are individual companies that I own, um, but some of the companies if they are, I'm gonna just say it. Should I say it? The
Say it.
actual company. I'm just mentioning one. I own multiple. I own a lot of companies. I'm mentioning one. I'm mentioning TSM. That's Taiwan Semiconductor. It's actually TSMC, right? Now I own them because they are a manufacturer for many of the chips for other companies, right? Now, me investing in them is actually kind of dangerous because most of the chip production is done with them. China is a threat to Taiwan. If China ever decides they want to take over that company, they could. Now I'm screwed. So, as a general rule, I do not invest in individual uh, international companies just because I can't put my eyes on it. I don't know the environment. I want to know the environment of which a company is trading in.
Okay.
Because I understand the chip industry well, that's one of the reasons I own that company. Is it hard to invest in other markets, in those markets? I don't know. I invest in the US market.
All right. Uh, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin? It's gonna be a flash round. One.
I don't invest in Bitcoin. I'm sorry. I was playing around one day and I took $100, bought $100 Bitcoin. I don't invest in Bitcoin. It's not uh I don't know how to say this. Um I don't invest in Bitcoin.
All right, lightning round. That's all you got to say. All right.
Let me say one other thing.
Okay,
Uh,
go.
I follow Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett says invest in the things you understand. I don't understand Bitcoin well enough to invest in
Okay. All right. Thoughts on Robinhood?
it. I almost said they. No, I ain't gonna do that. Robinhood. When the pandemic hit, Robinhood gave access to Black and Brown people to invest. I don't like Robinhood because you think you're getting. I don't like that they allow people to go. They made it like a game. They
Mhm.
were sued because when you first would invest in Robinhood, you buy something and something would explode or something silly.
Mm,
This
yes.
is investing. It's not a game. And so they tend to have people buying onesie twosies of companies that are not good companies. So, and they try. Robinhood actually makes more in fees than most of the other brokerages. They make more in fees than the top, not together, than the top three
Okay.
brokerages, and it is because they have hidden fees. If Robinhood is the brokerage that you have, first of all, great job on investing and great job on wanting to be able to grow your money. However, as you get older, as you understand more, move to a more serious, more robust brokerage, right? And so, if it were me, I would not. Uh, Robinhood ain't. I don't use it. That's a lie. I have used it to show examples, but I don't use it as a general thing, nor do I invest in that company.
Okay. Um, what makes Fidelity your preferred brokerage?
Fidelity has the largest accounts on. They have the largest amount of money in their funds.
Okay.
So Vanguard, it, and it's very user friendly. It has a bunch of resources and tools for you guys to do research, and you can take webinars and classes and learn the things you need to learn with them. There's nothing wrong with Vanguard and Schwab. It's just that I prefer Fidelity's uh, portal, their platform.
Okay. Is there a fund for AA stocks that you recommend?
I'm not doing that. I cannot do that. I'm not going to give a fund to anyone. I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
The reason I'm not going to do that is on my channel, sometimes I mention companies or sometimes people see what I'm invested in and then they go run by it. Well, you don't know when I bought it, how long I'm going to hold it or when I'm going to sell it. If I mention a fund right now that I don't know, it may be at a high. You could go buy right now and that thing fall. I'm not going to suggest that to you. But what you can do, if you go to ETFDB, etfdb.com, you can look up um, some of the top funds. You can go to barchart.com and look up some of the top funds. You can go to MarketWatch. The information is out there, and you can filter it out to find AI Oh, you said, is there a fund? Okay. Um, to find AI, to find ETFs or index funds that hold AI stocks.
Okay. How do you protect your money when you're overseas? I'm concerned about bank stock market crashes in US.
All right. Uh, listen, let me mention something. We're talking about this. A lot of people are talking about moving and leaving the U.S. Please keep some U.S. presence. So keep a U.S. phone number, keep a U.S. address, however you can, because if you do, you will not be able to invest in the U.S. market. All right. Now, how do I protect my money? How do you protect your money when overseas? I'm not doing anything to protect it now except put it in a reputable company or a reputable organization. I I had some mail the other day. Somebody sent me a letter that said my information has been breached. It's been what do you call it? Compromised. That happens all the time. Um, if you're speaking about, I'm concerned about bank like stock market crashes in the U.S. Okay, so um, I'm gonna go to. I got two examples. I'm going back to Johnson and Johnson and Procter and Gamble. I'm gonna go to Johnson and Johnson. Johnson and Johnson started in 1886. It has been through 1929 was the depression. It has gone through depressions, recessions, the housing crash. Right. It's gone through the sorry mm, World Trade Center attacks. It's gone through a pandemic. Right. It survived all of that. I'm speaking specifically of Johnson and Johnson. Right. Johnson and Johnson. For people that don't know, if you're younger, uh, we have if if this were a brand new, it would have not this. If it was a, if I just bought this, it would have protective packaging, tamper-free, tamper-resistant packaging on it. And the reason that's the case is because in 1982, in a suburb around Chicago, somebody went on the shelves and grabbed Tylenol, opened up the Tylenol, and laced it with cyanide. 7 people died behind that. Right? That was in 1982. Um, Johnson and Johnson had to spend $100 million to recall all that product and then go back and get the customers' trust back to get them to come back to the company. A lot of you guys use Tylenol now. That's because that company restored the trust in that, in it restored the public's trust. If if stock market crashes, depressions, housing market, if that has not crashed the market, you don't have to worry about it crashing for you. There's going to be times when the market crashes, but what happens is the market will crash and then it's going to go back up. If you look at the US market and put it on a time frame, say 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years, what you'll see is what this is bad for me. What you'll see is the market pull down, go up, pull down, go up, pull down, go up. Some of those downs are crashes, but then right after that it goes up. But the general way that it's moving is the market is always moving up. You don't have to worry about a stock market crash. If the market pulls down and crashes at a particular time for you, don't sell because you'll lock in a loss. Um, the last big one was the was March 2020, 2020. Look at what happened with the market. The market went boom because all these different companies shut down and we had to stop going to work. But if you invested then, or if you stayed in, you'd have made money since then. The market will come back. It always does.
Okay. All right. Y'all, I think that was our lightning round. Dee, I want to thank you for being here with us today. I am very excited about the Redefining Life Abroad Summit. Link is in the chat and I'll put it in the description. How do you want to close this out? What do you want to say?
I want to say get involved with your money. I want to say start, if you have not already, please start investing. If you are investing, be more serious about it. We are possibly 9 or 10 years away from Social Security not having enough money. They're not going to stop, but they may not have enough money. At one point in time, the way people, I don't know how much time I got, the way you made sure that you were going to be okay was you had three different things. You had your pension, if your company would provide it, you had a 401k, and you had Social Security. Pension's gone, right? If Social Security may be going away or may be getting smaller, the onus has been put on you to take care of your own money. So please start doing that now. Don't wait to get ready then. Get ready right now. And don't be afraid to do it.
All right. Thank you for your generosity today, your time, for sharing and speaking to us. And yeah, everybody, if you're not already following, you're not already subscribed to Dee's channel. It is what?
Brown Girls Invest Too, TOO.
And your website is what?
Brown Girls Invest Too, the number 2.com.
All right. Thanks, y'all. And I will see you guys next week. Oh, next week's a special time. Marissa, what's the special time next week? Hold on. Also, membership people, we're going to go live immediately after this on Zoom. If we're on my membership, we're going live on Zoom. But for the rest of y'all, next week is special time because I will be in Fiji. Yeah. So it looks like, child, what does that say? Next week may be at 6 Eastern time. That's what it's looking like on this calendar right now. Next week is 6 Eastern time. And the YouTube membership will be at 5 Eastern time, but the Zoom. But right now, I'm getting off this. I'm clicking over to Zoom. I'm going to hang out with the YouTube membership live there. Everybody else, I will see you guys next week at 6 Eastern time. Special time for the next 3 weeks because I'm in Fiji, Australia, then New Zealand.
Oh, nice. What?
It'll be Monday morning when I'm.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah, it'll be nice. It'll be nice. But my regular time here is like 2 a.m. And I was like, nobody wants to talk to me at 2 a.m. So, Sandra, I have a YouTube membership. If you look at the join button down below, it'll explain what that is. And then we will chitty chat. We get together once a week. And yes, Marissa knows everything. 6 p.m. Eastern time. Next week is our call. All right, y'all. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much. I appreciate this.
Thank
Have
you.
a great one, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.